YouTube loops. Okay, I gotta plug you guys in. We have two very important topics to talk about. So let me go potty. Let me go potty. Caden's still sleeping. Okay. Just clean my glasses. Good morning. Good morning. Hola. Konnichiwa. I have a hair. It's stuck in my glasses. Good morning. Good morning. I love you. Good morning. Okay. Thought I just saw something. I gotta water my plants. Hey. So, you know how I'm constantly, I think we're gonna have to end up doing 2 videos. Okay. I don't think the first one is going to be weekend energy. We're gonna have to start discussing black magic and voodoo. It is time to start calling some things out. But before that, let me double check my appointment, set my alarm, ring the alarm. That's been coming through in my head too. Okay. You know how we've been talking about you're the third reader to talk about this? Well, guys, here's the thing. I've been talking about it off and on for months, and I haven't been calling out certain shit that I see because, you know, it is what it is. And It's like with the hangman coming out a lot lately, um, it really is about a sacrifice. And it's not just the average time to change your perspective, yada yada. Like sacrifices need to be made. Whether you need to sacrifice and step out of a situation, somebody else needs to sacrifice and step out of a situation. It's like it's actually a sacrifice. This won't be easy for you, won't be easy for other people. And we've been talking about when I do, for instance, a past life reading, we were talking about I want to say arson now, but it hasn't been arson. Has it been acid? What has it been that it's come out 3 times now, extremely strong, like some type of poison. Um, Ring a bell to anybody? Because I'm like, oh, maybe you poisoned. Good morning. Maybe you poisoned somebody in a past life. Remember, it keeps coming out. Well, it doesn't keep coming out, but it's come out 3 times. Um, so there's different ways of explaining. Okay, when I say someone has like ill intent, I could be talking about black magic. I could be talking about voodoo. A lot of people think voodoo, you have to have a doll. I have been saying arsenic. I have been. You don't need a doll for this. Anyone who's praying or wishing ill intent on certain people, it went well. Periwinkle, um, is a form of black magic. Okay, it's dark energy at the end of the day, is what it is. Um, and because we're clearing up karma, the person that has been having ill intent on you, and I've been saying you're going to reap what you sow. And in the month of March, with the way things are aligning, it's going to go down. Okay. Um, I just like I don't even know how to like explain it. You know how here's the thing too. I've been I've been telling you for months on the board that people have ill intent and they're talking shit and they're running their mouths and in a lot of different scenarios, right? People giving other people bad advice, people blocking certain situations. So these new situations are coming in. And I've been talking about this third party for a long time. And this third party does not have to be people in a romantic relationship. This third party has to do with either the children's mother or that person's mother. Okay. Because it tends to be a feminine energy. So I don't think you pissed anybody off. I think the person who's projecting this energy to you it's their own personal shit that they have with you over the years or over so much time. Okay. Um, I just want to real quick on YouTube change this from weekend energy to the topic we are talking about real quick because we're just going to call it voodoo. Okay. Um, to get people's attention. because I think it's a very important topic. And I don't talk about it enough, but I shouldn't have to. I'm a light worker. Um, and, you know, it's even hard for me to grasp that somebody that can wish that much ill intent and be a light worker could even have any type of control or any type of influence against me. I'm going to use me for an example. Okay. Um, but how fucked up have I been and felt for months now? And I think I just assume that my guides have my back, and they do. Okay. But they can only do so much. I also have to protect myself in certain situations. And I've been seeing it, but I didn't want to believe that somebody could wish ill intent and pray ill intent on somebody, especially a light worker. And if spirit allowed it, they allowed it for a certain amount of time because it was part of her karma. Now, would I ever believe this person would do this to me? No. But it makes an awful lot of fucking sense that that is what's been going down, and it's becoming more and more clear. And I don't want to take my experience, and I haven't wanted to take my experience for the last few months and think for 1 second it's because of somebody else that's put me in this situation. I want to own my own shit, my own mental health, this, and that. But it makes zero sense for me to feel the way I felt with certain stuff and be stuck in it and really feel that crazy. It's just, it's not a thing. So I do know I do have somebody like that that prays ill intent on me. And it's gonna come back around. She's fucking with a light worker. So it's harder for me to know how it's gonna actually come down on her because I'm a light worker. I have a heart of gold. I don't want to see certain stuff go down like that, but that's not my karma. See what I'm saying? So that's why even the magician has been coming up for months reversed. It's crazy. Crazy. So you got to do stuff on your end to protect your own energy, and we talked about that. And I don't protect my own energy enough. Okay. But it's just becoming more and more clear. And I feel like, and I'm not going to say, I went to go see the healer last week and it was more of a conversation for a couple hours, but the main thing was protection. It wasn't her, oh, you got somebody doing ill intent and did it. No, it's me placing everything, putting things together with the messages I get through the cards and through spirit and through dreams and what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is a sacrifice. So I don't know if somebody's actually making like a little, I don't know what they're doing towards you. And it really is like another female working against another female. And somebody else doesn't want to see it. And it's not your job for you to tell them what's happening, especially if they don't even believe in what it is you do. So at that point, you're just probably going to have to take yourself out of a scenario. But it's just, guys, it's all over the damn board. So this person will reap what they sow, and they probably have been. And I think for a majority of you, they did get away with certain stuff to a certain extent. And now it's gonna get real ugly, you know? So for me, it's like I don't want to believe it. I still don't want to believe it. But with everything, I have to. I have to. And now that it's like I feel like I'm getting out of my funk and doing more practices and healing and working with my chakras, clearing cord, stuff like that. Now it's like now it's karma on the other end. And the other person that's involved, they also have to make a sacrifice. They have to pick and choose. And that won't be easy for them. And that's why this story has been on the board for a long time now. And probably one of the reasons why there's not a commitment or there's not something more, something stronger is I do feel like they're probably in a way protecting you from the other energy, but that doesn't cut it. It doesn't work that way because it's still going to happen. Now, what happens when this person makes the final decision, like makes the final cut? Because that's how that's going to go down, right? That ill intent is going to get stronger and stronger. And the more they push that out, it's only their karma is going to get stronger and stronger. And it's not going to be a good outcome. And it's out of your control. Okay. And I don't even want to believe that shit like that is going down, guys. I don't. Especially with me. I want to take everything that I've been experiencing. Let me just take this and chalk it up to shit. And not shit like that, but like my own karma, my own experiences. Hold on, I need water. I don't want to ever put my... Hold on. Good morning. I'm on YouTube. See me when you're up. Well, not right this second. You're just getting up. I don't ever want to put like how I've been feeling. Hold on. I don't ever want to put what I've been feeling on somebody else. Like it's still a lot for me to even process. And I'm not convinced. I know there's ill intention, but I just didn't know to the extent because I wouldn't think somebody would ever pray for shit to go awful with me. Like, what the fuck? It's awful. And with my scenario, I could actually see why this person might actually do that. Because we have a 30-year history. You know? So, I still don't want to believe that it's even a possibility. That's how crazy it is. You know? It's just nuts. I don't even know how to process that. You know? And they are going to reap what they sow. It's also going to affect everybody involved, though. Like, this person just disregards. This person fucked with me, a light worker. You're fucked. And they let you do it. They let you do it so it could come back to you. That's why they let it happen. Whether it's a girl on my end, a guy on my end, I can place the whole third party scenario. You can have a best friend that's been doing this. You can have somebody's ex and they're doing it out of jealousy, guys. Okay. They might not even know how to use black magic, but even going to bed and praying that something doesn't work out or something doesn't go her way, or hoping that she fails or them two never get together, that shit's about to come back at her or him. It's not good. And I could be wrong and it's not her and it's been him. But I doubt it would be him in my position. It would make sense it would be her. Okay. So again, I don't want to look at it as anything like that, but it now makes total sense to me that my 4 months of me feeling crazy and this and not being able to explain this, they allowed the voodoo or the black magic or the ill intent or praying just that someone fails. Let's just say she prayed that I failed at something, or you know, and spirit allowed it to happen, and only so she can reap what she sows. But I don't even like that. But I can't stop that either. And because of the karma that we have been working with, this isn't just me if that's what's actually happening. But how could it not be? It makes complete sense. And they allowed it to happen. So whomever is doing it will reap what they sow. And I've been using that expression and I've been using karma for months and talking about arsenic for months. And I don't think it's a past life thing anymore. I mean, it is. And it probably got carried into this lifetime. And once again, whoever is doing this towards anyone, the consequences are not good. It's just, they're not. It's not good. And I feel like another reason why you're not exactly with this other energy and it's not solid and there's still so much gray area. And I do feel like this other energy is somewhat protecting you from that, but they need to play a part in it too. They need to set the table straight. But it's either their mother or their kid's mother, but it's their karma. See what I'm saying? And it's been happening. And this could be a damn fucking coworker that's been doing this to you guys, or ill intent. Whatever's been going down that's been loopy and crazy for the last couple months, for those who have been experienced that, it doesn't have to be voodoo. It doesn't have to be a doll. It doesn't have to be black magic. It doesn't have to be spells. This person could just be laying in bed praying at night that things don't work out between you and the person they know, and they hope that it fails. That alone is voodoo. That alone is ill intent. That dark ass energy has been on the board for months and months. And some of you, this person could have been doing it for years. Oh, I try to stay in my own lane too. No ill intent. Absolutely. You know? But that doesn't mean that they're not doing that to you. And I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, feel bad when this energy reaps what they sow. And I know I shouldn't. No, I shouldn't. I don't want to be that person where I'm ever like, well, you reap what you sow, and it is what it is, because I know what he or she is about to reap is not good. And I think the man plays a part of it too. The man is going to reap what he sows as well. There's going to be a loss of money. There's going to be a loss of income. There's going to be a big loss on both ends. The person who's been wishing that somebody fails, not good. It's not good. And I can't not keep addressing it. And it sounds so crazy for me to even say, or to take this and turn it around and make it sound like, oh, I went loopy because of somebody else and I don't want to take my own blame. No, it's because I left myself vulnerable. I didn't protect myself enough. I got too comfortable just thinking spirit had my back. Absolutely, hands down, spirit has my back. But if this actually is going down like that, spirit allowed it to happen so this person can reap what they sow. Get what I'm saying? And what I went through, and whether it's her or him that reaps what they sow, it's like return to sender. People had these two people still, I know, have no clue what a light worker is. I almost just want to block every single outlet. I don't even know what to do about it yet. I think I'm going to have a conversation with him on a serious note, whether he wants to believe it or not, and give him the benefit of the doubt to play the part he needs to play, or it's will get bad for him too. And I know when I have this conversation with this person, they're probably going to look at it as a threat, or I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm strong enough in my life and who I am that I don't give a fuck what they think. I think and what I believe in. He or she doesn't need to believe what I believe. If I believe it, it's enough. Get what I'm saying? And that's why I've been saying for months too, this karma and this woman and woman. I've been reading it for almost a year, guys. The karma's between them too. Heavy fucking karma. So it doesn't need to be worded as voodoo or anything like that. It could be somebody literally for the last year has just been wishing that things don't work out between you and someone else, and that you fail at this and you fail at that because they just don't like you. And that alone, and shit's already falling apart for that crew anyway. And this is serious because in my scenario it's serious because they fucked with the light worker. But it apparently wasn't meant to happen. The person that's been doing this to me may never ever again have a happy life in this lifetime. Will be a miserable person for the rest of their life. Shit will crash and fall for the rest of I'm telling you. And it will be carried through from lifetime to lifetime. I don't know what they did in the past. Not my business. Don't care. And I'm not going to waste my time reading into it for my own story. On my end, I'm just going to do my clearing, continue to see the healer. And that's it. I know when to step out of something. And I've been stepping out. I've been stepping out and I've been out. And I stepped back in recently, and I don't think it's a bad thing. But if this person can't do what they need to do on their end to nip something in the butt, finally nip something in the butt and deal with the controversy and the confrontation, my ass will step out again. you know? And if I have to step out again, every outlet is being blocked. Every single one. So I'm just at the point where I don't care if they look at it as a threat. I don't care if they look at it as anything. I'm going to tell this person my belief, whether they want to believe it or not. And if they choose not to, they're just going to watch shit play out. Why I'm just doing my own fucking thing. You know? If this energy loves me enough, they'll consider my thoughts and my feelings and my belief and look at it from my perspective for a minute and be like, holy shit. There's actually a possibility. And if they choose not to, well, then I will choose to shut that door. So it's good morning. It's a lot, you know? This person was meant to be in my life, you know? And if she wants to stop it and you want to call it jealousy or he wants to call it this or that, you don't want to see things from a different perspective, then so be it, you know? And think about it. It's got to be so tough for this person because if it's their kid's mother or their actual mother and they have to sever ties like that, who wants to sever ties with either one of those scenarios if there's still some type of love? Do you think either of them have considered your thoughts and feelings this whole entire time? You know? So it's just mind blowing, this stuff that's about to come out. And when I said this energy or both energies are going to reap what they sow, they will. And I wasn't kidding when I said everybody's karma is involved. I actually feel bad for whoever's doing this on my end because they fucked with a light worker. I don't know what they did in their past life. Mind blowing. But this person cannot be dealing with a good person. He or she is not a good person. And one of them is a good person. And that's why you played part. You didn't play part to come in and tell a fucked up love story. You came in to try to help a friend. And somebody else couldn't handle it. And they have been praying ill intentions towards you. Unless it's you. Then reverse the story and it will come back to you. This story has been on the board way too long. For everybody who's watching these videos, you are involved. You stepped in to help. And you've had it. And you've had it because of the scenario that was attached to it. And somebody not fucking owning their shit. If they don't start owning their fucking shit and realize they're not on this earth just to make money or just to do this or just to be a playboy or a playgirl, they're fucked. 2 out of 3 are wiped. If something's meant to be, it will be. And if this person is aware of that and can say that and acknowledge that, but not do anything to help fix the situation and to help play part and set things right and do the right thing. Hoo-wee! So there's that. So now you have a gist of stuff we've been dealing with. You have a better explanation. So do what you need to do on your end to protect your own energy. And it's not just your rituals. Go see a clearer, you know? Take yourself out of the scenario. Block it. Give this person one more chance. Give this person the benefit of the doubt. Speak your mind. And if shit can't get handled and they can't address the elephant in the room, then you know where you stand. You gave them a chance. This karma is a lot heavier than I was aware of. I mean, I knew we were dealing with some heavy shit, but I didn't realize to the extent. I didn't think somebody praying such ill intent for somebody to fail could come back like that. I mean, I know it's not good, but I to the extent that this energy is about to reap what they sow is not. I don't know. I almost don't even want to play part of it in this person's life anymore, to be quite honest with you, because if shit gets real bad and someone doesn't believe in what you do, it can backfire on you and they can think everything bad that's going down now has to do with you. See what I'm saying? This is why I'm saying there's karma at each corner. So this isn't a little decision. This is a big decision. This is a life-changing decision. Because shit has to play out. And I've told you over the months and months, that people aren't taking care of their karma. And I take myself out of certain scenarios because I don't want to play part of it. I know when there's something shady or something doesn't feel right. And this other energy that you're dealing with also is trying to protect you, but they're not trying to protect you enough where they're doing what's right for you either. And that message came in with one of those pick a cards, pick a stack stories that I did. So shit's about to get really real. I don't know whether to address this one more time, like I said, or to really just leave it be, because I feel like the people that you might be dealing with, and when shit starts to get extremely ugly, they might blame you instead of taking their own blame. And that is a very difficult decision for the ones that went in to help. That is a heavy, heavy decision that has to be on your hands. So call it what you want. Call it voodoo, call it black magic, call it ill intentions, or this energy is just praying that you fail. But he or she has been praying that you fail for a long time now. And I'm sure you were very aware that this other energy wanted nothing to do with you or have to be in somebody else's life. But it's the way, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And If somebody is that miserable in their own fucking life, then yeah, karma will do what karma needs to do. I don't know if me personally wants to stay around to see how it plays out. Because I do feel like it can backfire on me. It shouldn't. If something's meant to be, it's meant to be. It won't backfire on me. But if I don't have enough faith in this person to do the right thing and to call out what needs to be called out, and I don't feel secure enough in the situation, then I'm out. So this karma on all four corners was a lot bigger than I think a lot of us are aware of. I don't even like to call it voodoo because I just don't play that role, you know. It's extremely disappointing that once again I got put in a situation, even though I've already taken myself out of stuff. But now I'm in a heavier situation because now I know one or the other has been praying for something to fail. One of my stones just moved. I'm sure you could hear it. It wasn't from me. I wasn't moving. I'd like to know exactly what I was saying. I wish I knew exactly what stone it was, too. It's just like even taking myself out of a scenario. And be careful because if you choose to tell somebody your thoughts and they turn around and tell you you're crazy, block it. They don't deserve the benefit of the doubt if that happens. And they can really hurt you or even kill. Yeah, I just feel like these consequences of what they're about to reap, what they sow, is not it's not good. And it's unfortunate because if I end up in this person's life and they end up doing the right thing, he or she will be on the outskirts. And unfortunately, this is why a sacrifice needs to be made because there's not a choice anymore. It needs to be picked. I'm picking you or I'm picking you. There's no more in between. There can't be gray area. And that is extremely difficult. And it's difficult for me because I think in my situation, it could be their kid's mother or their mother. And I don't ever want to put that energy or that person in that position because you have to play some type of role. But there's no way this person is naive that this person is not a good person. I'm baffled that we all are now in this scenario to this extent. And this could be a coworker, this can be an ex-best friend. If you are watching this and you have been staying with me for years, you are part of this. If you know that this particular person does not like you, they have not had good intent. This goes beyond jealousy, guys. This goes beyond jealousy. It is time for you to get extremely serious with your next move. And I just got goosebumps, so I know that's spirit talking to me. And it's not a coincidence I went to see a healer to do XYZ. And I ended up talking for 2 hours and leaving and not being, extremely happy and needing to start from square one, and she was just stressed on protection, and I was angry. And there was it was she was like a counselor, and I was just trying to resist it. She's like, why are you resisting starting at square one again? And I was like, because you're telling me stuff I'm already aware of. But she needed to explain it in so many different ways for me to actually grasp what she was saying. And it actually makes perfect fucking sense. It's not a coincidence that I sat there for almost 2 hours fucking crying, and I couldn't believe it. And her and her husband came in and they talked about different types of protection and this and that. And I didn't want to see it. I didn't. I left more angry than happy. See what I'm saying? Like spirit delivers their messages in different ways. So yes, my guides can protect me and the energy around me and my space and where I work and where I live. But it's all the other energies, the bigger forces, the gatekeepers, the angelic angels. There's all that where you need to seek ultimate protection from the forces outside of your safe haven. I wasn't aware of that like that. I just was like, yeah, spirit's got my back. They absolutely hands down have my back. But they absolutely hands down also allowed this to happen because it was supposed to happen. It's probably written in our Akashic records. And we don't want to realize that. Guys, I've never felt so crazy in my fucking life. Like it was not good. And I know I explained some of that to you. And even expressing and crying with the healer, believe it or not, like the stuff I didn't want to hear. Because when somebody comes at me and is like, oh, you should probably do this, this, and this, and this, and how you doing this, and it's like, I just feel like they're like judging, and I build this wall because it's like, don't come at me with stuff I'm already aware of, you know? So it's like, I have that wall because I feel like personally, they're not picking up on what I'm saying. Don't try to teach me something I've already taught myself. See what I'm saying? So I have that resistance. I have that wall. But now I get why on both ends, how they stressed protection. It was like them telling me without telling me. And I will take my spirituality and I will take myself and I will sacrifice myself and I will cut ties. And it's not because of my fucking strength, it's because of my fucking worth. See what I'm saying? So, and I'm not just going to step out of this person's life without being completely honest. And I know they don't believe in what I believe in. But I've already mentioned it and I brought it up and I just happened to do it this morning, and I'll respond later, and I'll probably have one more conversation with this person and be like, this is how I feel. This is my belief. You don't have to believe it or not, but this is how this is going to go. And if we can't address the elephant in the room and we can't get to where we need to be, there will be zero. Because now that I'm aware of them even wanting me to fail, or me and him fail, or this and that, there's no going back from that. There's no just sitting back and letting karma just play out either. It's not going to work like that, because if I stay involved, I need to know stuff is being addressed, whether they believe what I believe or not. It's important for me to be aware that they are aware. And spirit will send me signs and tell me, don't go there. Don't entertain that. Don't, you know what I'm saying? So make it real clear, because this is a lot more serious than I think any of us really knew. And it's just somebody praying for you to fail. And we feel like, oh, there's people like that out there everywhere. Who cares? Well, you've been playing a big part of this story for almost 2 years on my board. So it's a big deal. It is a very, very big deal. So it's time to be really real about this situation, because I think the person you're dealing with is not being practical or realistic. All their focus is going towards all the wrong things. And for a majority of you, all their focus is going towards work, just staying busy and using that for an excuse. Or, they think they came into this world for this, and that. You really think that? Like what? I did end up getting turbulent. I got turbulent. I got this one, and then I got hemarite, hematite, and then another one. But that's not enough, but it can help. And I know what I'm about to go through is going to be an extremely tough conversation, because I know the person I've been dealing with doesn't really believe or couldn't really imagine that this other person would do that, which I get it. I get it. We don't want to think this person would. She could have been watching me for years. She knows what I do. Everybody knows what I do. She knew I was in the picture. I knew some type of karma was going to come back around to both of them. I just didn't know to this extent. This is really truly a big deal. Like, I can cry because the amount of what they're about to reap really had nothing to do with me. I just happened to be the target because we all have a past. But I knew me and her had karma, but I didn't know to the extent. And I want to say she's not a bad person, but if she's actually hoping that something is going to fail and she's been trying to block and block and block, she is a bad person. Why would you not want your kid's father to be with somebody good, a good person, if it's not going to be you two? They don't even want to be together. But why would you not want him to be with somebody who can be a great influence to your children or something? I wasn't lucky like that. I got the shit end of the stick. So honestly, strike my kids dead. I would want them to have that type of relationship, but they're not going to, because he has to sacrifice, because she's not a good person. If you're wishing that me and him are going to fail, and you're wishing that things just don't work out for me, and this is really hard for me to talk about because I'm a private person, guys, and I might end up with this person. And you guys have part of the story. But this is life, and this is how karma works, and it is what it is, guys. You know? So this is not an easy conversation. This is not the typical karma I've been talking about. I know she doesn't like me. I just didn't know to the extent of the ill intentions that were really going on. And I do truly believe he hasn't made anything or certain things solid, because it's a tough scenario and we all have a past, but it's it is tough for me to talk about with you guys too, because it is part of my personal scenario too. And I do really feel like I will end up with this person. It might not be for a year, it could be next week. But how can I not address it? Because you guys have been part of this. And if I didn't address it, I wouldn't truly be a light worker. I really truly wouldn't be having you guys' back. And the only way for me to teach you guys is through my own experiences. And that's just the way I happen to come into this lifetime like this, you know? But it now is coming down to having this one last conversation about this and addressing the elephant in the room and getting on the same page, because there can't be any more gray area now that I know the extent of a situation, because I won't allow myself to stay in that situation. I'm a mom of four. I have a life. I have a career that I need to get back onto the ground. If I have to take myself out of it and block for a few months until the energy shifts again and they can reap what they sow, then I will do that. And you guys might need to do that too. I feel like a lot of us stepped back into something and it's not a bad thing. All right. You're trying to help somebody like it's, or, there's so much more to you too. So trust me, it's not a bad thing. It's not a fault. It's not anything like that. But you need to be very aware that this is actually fucking happening. And if you're anything like me, you don't want to be able to fathom that. Not for one, there's not one bone in my body that wants to sit here and say that the amount of focus that she has put on me for something not to work out between them, me and him, it's rotten, it's awful, it's heartbreaking. I don't want to think she's that person. And I think she's just, no, I'm trying to justify her being a good person, and she's not a good person. Thanks. I went with Periwinkle and Scott Sparkle, and I was just with Bruce, and we were laughing. I was like, oh, that's fucking Sparkle. He was laughing at me. He's like, you chose it. I'm like, I chose it because it's Periwinkle, and I like it, and I adore it. And he was laughing at me. And I was like, it's like the Wizard of Oz with the red. It really is. But it's periwinkle. So I use the dip because these are my real nails and I need the dip because of the work. And so I went real light with only like 2 coats. But it is exactly like the Wizard of Oz red. But it's like a periwinkle. It's called Cabana Boy. I was like, because I was hesitating with the sparkle. And then I read it and I was like, Cabana Boy. I was like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Give me that fucking sparkle. So we are all in a tough position. We really are. Because this is going to require faith and trust that somebody's really doing what they're doing on their end to make something better for you and them. And when I even said I came back with those 2 reads and I had that additional message, like everything's falling into place, like everything's making sense. Guys, I didn't want to see it. And I know I've been talking about it off and on for a year. I didn't want to see it. And I just assumed, my guys are going to keep me safe and karma will come back around. But to the extent of now what's really going on. And if he's not a believer, which is okay, he doesn't need to, but he needs to understand that I believe that this is happening. And if he wants to say I'm crazy and this and that, well, then we'll shut the door for a little while. I'm okay with that. He got me to the point where I no longer, I want to say take it personally. I take it personally, but I no longer sit and wallow. I no longer stress, or you know what I'm saying? I am at a place in my life where I can shut the door for a couple months and see where you're at come April. because I know when my gut's telling me something. And it's ironic because I saw him at the end of November, early December, and I was leaving one morning and I was hugging him and I was giving him a kiss and I was like, I literally started crying and I forget exactly my exact words, but I'm like, huh. It was November. I'm like, I'll see you in January. He's like, don't say that. And my gut knew it. And I left his house crying like in the car. It's like because my gut knew it because I didn't want to deal with the drama with the holidays. See what I'm saying? So I know I'm very capable of taking myself out of the situation and coming back in a couple months because I know you're a big part of my life. And he's going to start realizing you're not fucking with somebody who is going to sweep things under the rug. And he really does have a heart of gold, but his focus needs to shift. His priorities need to shift. And I'm not going to judge him on age or character or this because we all go through our own stuff at different times in our lives. And when you finally see the light to things and then you realize and then you want to put the effort in, life can change. I'm a big advocate with working from the past. We work with the past. How can you not? Everything is based on the past, unfortunately. But you have to also get to a point to where you're at, where you realize the present moment, there's here and now, you got to stay current. So I won't be that reader. And if you guys want to sit here and be like, I don't want the past back, then I'm probably not your reader anymore. Because how can you ever heal and move forward if you can't address, you can't do this? You know, when he came back into my life, my dad was like, what? Leopards never change their spots or whatever, you know? And it's like, you guys can all say what you want to say. But this is between me and him. I will confront people or certain things. You know what I mean? And I talk about certain situations with my friends. It's not necessarily for advice. It's hear me out. I'm not coming at you to tell me that I deserve better. I know this is not the point of the situation. I know what I deserve. You're one of my best friends. We're talking about this and that. I will shut even a friend down real quick if they just want to take my side, because that's what friends do. So there is only certain people I will talk about with certain stuff that are not naive to seeing both sides of a situation. So y'all are put in this tricky situation yourselves. We are absolutely who we are based on the past. We come into this world with our karma from the life before. And who knows how many years of being tacked onto that one because you didn't figure it out in the last one. I don't need to be with somebody who believes what I believe, but I need to believe in somebody. I need to be with somebody who at least believes that I believe what I believe. And don't use it against me or say that I'm crazy or you just don't know her. She would never do that. It's like, don't be naive, because if you're really thinking that she would never do that, and you know that she would, but you don't want to own it to me because you don't believe in what I do, then that's even more karma for me and him. But see, he doesn't get that because he's not where I'm at. But he doesn't need to be where I'm at. See what I'm saying? It's not a bad thing. You know, why don't you find a different career? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do it? It's like, I don't need that. Like it's not about that. But do you think for 1 second he really sat back and really absorbed that the pain and the suffering, the stuff I went through, just being a light worker and reading everybody's scenario and me being in it a majority of the time, just being told a different way? Do you know how painful that is? So for somebody to come in and not believe what I believe is a lot for me, but I don't need that. But I need that person to believe that I believe what I believe. And don't try to get me into like another job field because it suits you better. How about you support me and say it will get better? Because what, you know, I just feel like this energy too used what I did for a living and used it against me on the board. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I do know what I'm talking about though. And I know what I'm talking about. And I'm done doing this with your ego. Let's be realistic, people. We know what it comes down to. And it doesn't make this person a bad person. But because I don't address stuff for a certain amount of stuff or keep things like that, it's for my own sanity. And if I'm coming in and we're doing this, you better believe it's serving a purpose for me. Maybe I just really wanted to drink tequila and get some good dick. Okay? Because there was plenty of those nights and why I went back into that situation. Because me and him have a fucking blast together. And then there's other times where it's like, it's got to get real fucking real. And that's the truth. And when it gets real, they don't want to deal with real. And then, the two of you are in love, but shit's still not being addressed. I won't play that role. I'm done not addressing the elephant in the room. And it's all ego. And he's definitely getting better. And I love the drive, and I love that he does this, and I love that he does that. I won't take that, his drive, away. He's like a workaholic too, and I won't take that away. But you gotta find time to make me a priority and put certain things aside at certain times. I will support your ass. You want to work 80 hours a week? Great. I got friends. I got the beach. I got the sun. You fucking kosher, dude. I got you. But it's got to be done the right way. You got to be able to take your own breaks. You got to be able to realize things. You got to be able to shift your focus. You got to be able to find the balance. You got to be able to incorporate family. You know what I mean? It's a lot. I didn't come into this person's life for us to bring each other down. We came into each other's life to lift each other up. And it's been going the other way for a long time because nobody wants to address the elephant in the room. And then eventually you want a conversation for so long. And then it's like, eventually after that, you don't even want the conversation anymore because you're fucking exhausted with the fucking situation. And you're just waiting for this person to step up their game and start owning their fucking shit. But then you put yourself back in the situation again. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's just, at this point, the elephant needs to be addressed, and there's no way around it. You can't move forward if it's not addressed. Sheldon got up yesterday. He just got up today. Don't you eat the dirt. I know you can barely see. Hey, Sheldon, don't you eat the dirt. Don't, baby. Baby boy, you stay on my mind. Feel good to see. So I don't think you guys are dealing with a bad person either. I don't. Well, they have a bad person around them. I gotta feed them. You guys can peek on them. They don't have the best person around them. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm pretty sure they're fully aware of that. And if they tell you that they shut the doors to these people or these other energies, yeah, they might have shut the door. That's not the point. The point is, you're still not addressing the person that is in your life. Like, if that makes sense. Like, we still need to be addressed. If everybody knows everybody, it's like everybody knows that other person exists, but the conversation is not being had. And that is not how you solve shit. It just is not. All right, baby, I'm going to feed you. So you have a little of that while your breakfast is stewing. Good morning. me to get you a bowl? No? Oh, the Rice Krispies is there. Alright, I'm going back on YouTube. Love you. Be real. I'm not going to make waffles or pancakes right now. I'm on YouTube. Huh? I said I'm not going to make waffles or pancakes right now. I'm on YouTube. Oh. Love you. So I know it's hard because there's always going to be a lot of people in your life that don't want you to go in this direction or don't want you to go in that direction, or I can't believe you're still dealing with that situation. And it is what it is, and things will not get better until the elephant is addressed. And until then, if they can't do it, it's your karma to step out of it. But like I said, I think a lot of you are probably where I'm at with the whole situation of you don't even care to have a conversation anymore because you asked for a conversation and common courtesy a year ago. This person's not naive. This person has purposely veered you off that subject. So when it comes back around, you get the same excuse every time. So if you go back into it, you're feeding your own needs. So I stayed out of it for a while, and then I recently went back into it. And again, I don't think it's a bad thing, but I won't allow a gray area. And now that I'm seeing more and more and getting my messages, and all this is coming through, and all these downloads are coming through, and all the messages, because it's now time that it gets talked about. Now we have a reason, we have a situation on the board. We have something tangible to talk about. And again, if they don't believe what you believe, that's okay. Now is not your time to fix it. Step out for a month or two, let them reap what they decided to sow. And that's really how that's going to work, because you still got two people, that want to keep that persona that everything's good. And then you got a mother or a father on one end. Oh, try to work things out with them. They're such a good person. No, they're not. They're fucking nasty. And these energies separated a long time ago. They don't live together. They separated. And I've said that to you. The separation thing is not a fucking thing. You guys turn your back on it. One or the other turned their back on one or the other the minute they left that house. Now, if you want to believe differently, now you just needed a break, that will come back to bite you in the ass too. So I just think the amount of, I'm just fucking baffled. It would actually make sense that I stayed stuck for that amount of time with this, and that. And guys, I was really having a hard time seeing my way out. It didn't make sense to me. I couldn't process what was happening. I was even at the point where I'm like, spirit, and this was like within the last week when energy started shifting, like I would hate to ever live that mundane life, but I am now in a situation again where I can't even process what's happening. So how do I fix it? And this and that, and not that I wanted to give up on YouTube and do this, or there's so many other things, but I know I'm meant to be an influencer, right? So I wasn't able to find my way out. I've never been in a situation like that where I wasn't able to find my way out. And if somebody's been doing this to day one, but not to that extent, but have been blocking a situation and bringing themselves back and forth because I'm in it, and now it's all making sense on why I haven't been able to really like find my place with certain things. And and to be quite honest with you, I considered doing counseling. Um, I considered doing like because I can fix relationships, you know what I mean? But how can I do that when I'm dealing with somebody who's going through a divorce, a separation? How can I be that person when me and him have feelings for each other, but yet I'm coaching people to work on their marriage and their relationships? Like it's not time for me to do that because then I'm giving you advice to work on something with someone that's extremely karmic to you. So what this person does not understand is that not only is he fucking with my love life per se, like my emotions, this and that, it also fucks with my work. And they just, the people you're dealing with are very naive to that, especially if you're influencers or on YouTube or they don't like what you do for work. Like, I don't think they know the extent of how many areas of life it truly impacts for you because they can't process that because their focus is on other things, so they don't need to focus on what's really at hand because you're dealing with people who like to sweep things under the rug. You know, I'm telling you, your person's not a bad person. They just need to find their way out. They like their own doorbell needs to go off. You can't teach them how to listen to the doorbell. You know what I'm saying? That comes on their own, just like with every child. Like, no matter how great your parents are or shitty, the lessons you learn, whether you repeat them once or three times, it has nothing to do with how you were raised per se. It was when you chose to see something differently because of the pain or the aggravation. Get what I'm saying? So there's just little things like that are always going to come up for people. And it's not that I couldn't do that, but it would make it a real awkward situation if I came in to help in a certain situation and then I went back to that, and you know what I'm saying? But either way, it would have backfired either way. He still tried to manipulate my work to tell me I didn't know what I was talking about. I'm not a fucking idiot. I'm not an idiot. I have sixth sense. Like, you came back into my world when I was already awoken. Like, so, like I said, this time around, I think you was somebody else's catalyst, but a majority of you are in a meant to be scenario with certain people. But it's been long enough. You are now at that point where there's no in between. You should have already been at the point where there was no in between. But now you're really at the point where there's no in between because all the dynamics have shifted. But just because there's been a shift does not mean it's still going to play out the proper way. There was karma on each corner. Everybody has to check their own karma. And it's not always for you to be like, well, I've learned this lesson, so I'm just going to check out. There could be something so much more than that. A lot of people just say, yeah, I want to take myself out of the situation. Now I'm clearing my karma. Oh, baby girl, we're not just clearing karma like that. I had karma because I didn't protect myself enough. That's my karma that came back on me. I expected my guides to just do that. That's shitty of me. That's shitty of me. It's probably a good way, probably a good example on why I couldn't find my way back into something is because I wasn't protecting myself the proper way. And I can see that now. And it sucks that that had to take 2 years because I'm taking on all this other karma too, reading and this and that. And even though I tell myself I'm not taking on other people's karma because I'll take myself right out of it, doesn't mean it's still not all around me. I'm not protecting myself in the right way. I just assume they have me, and they do. They really do. But so, in a way, I almost took advantage of that, thinking they had me enough where if it was happening, it will come back on that person, and it will. But it will. It absolutely will. But it doesn't solve my bigger problem on how to push forward. See what I'm saying? So for 2 fucking years now, feeling stuck, or 3 years feeling stuck, I had to go through all that to get right down to the fucking basics again. And I didn't want to go to the basics because I already knew the basics. So if somebody was trying to come at me and the healer was trying to come at me and teach me the basics again, I was like, what type of fucking healer is this? Bitch, I already know the basics. You're fucking insulting me. It's not what it was about. Way deeper than that. I can't get to where I'm at if I don't have the proper tools and the right type of guidance that is needed when you're a light worker. You need certain tools and the proper strong influences and the right energy coming in and out, dark or light. I never really learned the basics of what I do. I just know I'm good at it and I went right into it. See what I think we forget that. I think we know the basics and we're like, all right, so this is a gift and I'm good at it. And we get so good at it, we come to the point where if somebody comes in and says, well, what are you doing for protection? Our guard goes up and we're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why are we talking about protection? I already knew to bubble myself. I already knew to, like, do you guys kind of get what I'm saying? Because I wasn't understanding what she was trying to explain to me either. And now I'm seeing why there's been a blockage with me for progressing. I'm always progressing. I'm always upgrading. I'm always this. But I'm going to continuously get held back until I really ground myself before stepping into something new. They can't have me stepping into something new and having all this activations and shit come at me if I can't handle it. And I got myself so crazy. I thought to myself, are you really going to make me I did. I'm pointing to my bed because I could remember sitting there being like, I forgot what I was gonna say, but like meaning like this is crazy to me, like that you have not shown me a way yet. And it's like they can't show me a way if I don't have the basic fundamentals underneath me on how to protect myself and who to call in for help and how, where am I getting my advice from? Where am I getting this? And I know I'm good at it. But I bypassed the basics because I didn't have a teacher. Get what I'm saying? I taught myself. I became really good at certain stuff, but I didn't have a teacher to teach me the basics. I taught myself. So how can I progress with all this other energy that wants to come at me, but I don't know how to interpretate or this? Does that make sense? So I've kind of been holding myself back without realizing what I needed. Like there's so much to like what I'm trying to say and leaving stuff out, but I'm just giving you an example, you know? And yeah, I protect my energy. I use crystals. I do this. I ask for this, but it's it's so much more to that. that I really wasn't aware of. And you have all these monks and you have Hinduism and you have all this, and you wonder why there's these retreats, and you wonder why, like, they have to start with like pruning bonsai trees or certain stuff that seems like silliness, and it's like it's just making sense to me now. I don't know how to explain it. I can't keep moving up without having the basic. And now I had to get to the point where they allowed somebody to project that energy onto me and experience and have everything come together at the right time. Unfortunately, it will backfire and they will reap what they sow, and that's out of my hands. But I had to get into the position again where I really thought I was going fucking crazy. I don't want to do this anymore. And it's because of other people's like ill intent and because of my own negligence on not protecting myself the right way. I would just take myself out of the scenario. Well, I'm also carrying their karma. It doesn't mean I have to help them get through it. But every time I step back into that energy, I'm also stepping out with their karma, even though I'm not entertaining it, if that makes sense. So it's like it's like, I can't believe I've had that much of an experience to like know that I had to go back to the basics. But it makes sense that I wouldn't know that because I was given this gift. I went for it. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense that I would have that guard up. Like, why are you trying to teach me something or talk about something I'm already aware of? But clearly she knows I wasn't really aware of. I'm like, I've already bypassed that stage. Don't come at me like I'm not who I am, you know what I'm saying? It was like almost like belittling to me. And then I wanted to question her skills because she wanted to break me down to the basics. I'm like, the fuck is wrong with this chick? But now it makes sense. If I can't learn to protect myself and call in certain stuff and it, like, it is what it is, you know? And it's like such a nuisance. Like, some people will look at it because like the way she was explaining it, she's like, I even like protect myself before going into Walmart and this and that. And I'm like, and I literally said, I'm like, don't you think that's a nuisance that because I was like, I don't think you should have to wake up every day and before you get in the car, protect yourself. Before you go into Walmart, protect yourself. Before you do this, protect yourself. Because I work in the number one industry with a hospital of where protection is key. Um, in certain in entities and dark energy, right? And I was like, that seems a little extreme. I'm like, this lady has no idea what the fuck she's talking about. You should be able to wake up and do this and do that. I sat at this table so many times, and before sitting at this table, I have everything. But for years and years, I stopped asking for like protection and saying like something, this and that. Like, I felt like, oh, I don't need to do that. Like, I haven't been doing that. Like, and all the answers are still here and this and that. But like, it like makes sense now. And then it was like, is she judging Walmart by like lower energies and people that hang out and this and that and lower income and this and that? So like, I'm trying to like fathom and wrap everything around in my head that she's trying to say to me, right? And she's just basically saying, well, there's lower energies that are in and out, and it could be people with just depression or people with addiction or people who can't do this or do, like, it makes sense. But I thought what she was trying to say, like, you got to do it throughout the day, this, and that. And it's like, no, I don't believe that you really need to do that. Do I believe you should do it every day and you should talk to your guys and you should do that? Yeah. or before I do this, or yeah. And I've been seeing dark spots that for months I knew there was dark energy around me, but I was also being protected in my area. Get what I'm saying? So, and I still didn't want to pick up on it, you know? So it's just like, fuck, man. And it just got to the point, I don't know if it's because the shit's shifting, or spirit now knows I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I can now acknowledge this and that this is happening. Now things are hands down, no question, going to move forward for everybody because now it's being acknowledged. Now we know. Now we have answers. Because trust me, I was like, this bitch has no idea what the fuck she's talking about. She wants to bypass everything I'm saying and make me start at the fucking bottom of the totem pole again. This bitch is crazy. But now I see it. I see it. So for those who do what I do, or you're influencers, or you do this and you didn't start by having a teacher or someone to guide you, it's we still are able to access that, and we're still knowledgeable, and we still hold our wisdom, and we still have that. And yeah, we're still going to be able to progress. We're going to do that, and we're going to, you know what I mean? But to an extent, it was karma for me to step in this situation when I got to my wit's end with YouTube, and then I came into his life. Part of my karma to realize how energy works. And I was already aware of how energy works, but like, meaning like, I knew stepping into this, I was like, oh, fuck. I did it anyway. Right. And then I stayed and I stayed. It all makes sense to me now. That was a big lesson on my end, a lesson I probably wouldn't have picked up on unless I took this journey. And there's other karmic stuff attached to it too, because like I said, there's karma on all four corners. What I really want to say all three corners, but there's four corners for some reason. See what I'm saying? So it's so much more than, oh, I'm just going to take myself out of it and clear my karma. If it was only that fucking easy. Because I just experienced all this to bring myself right back to the fucking bottom and start again. And when I do that, and when I master that, and I grasp that, and I get that, bam. Wheel turns again. You know? And I knew a lot of you were like, this isn't my story, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? You've been watching me for 2 years after we stepped out of something karmic and we learned this lesson, we did this and we did that. Like, stop telling me it's not your fucking story. It's your fucking story somewhere. It's your fucking story. And your story can be my fucking story right now because we're all fucking linked. Maybe I needed to figure it out for you to figure it out. And I certainly didn't figure it out on my own. It got to the point where shit got so bad, I knew I needed someone to help clear me. And for the longest time, I didn't want anybody to step in and help clear me because I didn't want to take the chance or let somebody else mess with my energy. And that was my own neglect. But I got to the point where it was so bad that I literally told myself, oh, I gotta fucking clear my energy. And now I'm getting my answers. And that's how shit works. So don't stop not listening to your fucking intuition. It's not the average energy we're fucking with right now. You have energy around you that does not want you in somebody else's fucking life, and that's not your fucking problem. Well, it is. It is though. But it's not. So you got to figure out where your karma is. And mine goes right back to the fucking basics. And ding dong, in my head right now, how many times have I said to you guys in the last 2 years, I don't want to go back to the basics? I was stopping my own fucking growth. I was stopping my own fucking growth by not doing what I fucking taught you guys. Because it came so fucking naturally from me. Why would I have to go back to the basics? No, I wasn't crazy about the freaking healer. Like, that was my whole point. I walked out pissed. That was my whole point of this whole fucking story. But now it's all fucking making sense. Because now it's being acknowledged. Whether he watches, she watches, now it's fucking acknowledged. Now the tides are going to fucking turn. I'm going to learn what I need to fucking learn so nobody has that ability again. Because I don't think she had a doll in fucking pin needles, guys. I think she was just going to bed or taking her time, or she got pissed off, or she knew I was with him. She took that time to be like, man, I really hope and pray that they don't work out, or I hope she fails. She's been watching me. What if she's been watching me for 2 years, listening to me, not being able to find my way? But this was all meant to go down this way. Get what I'm saying? It was in her Akashic record too. I knew there was karma between me and her. And it doesn't stem from when me and her are 16. It stems from the fucking lifetime before that. And the way she allowed this to fucking play out. I've told this story to you guys before, but I haven't mentioned it in a couple years because I try to keep my stuff personal. But you guys have heard me tell this story before this person even came back into my life. And they needed to come back into my life for me to figure out right back to fucking basics when it comes down to protection. Because we forget the basics because we master other things and our brains are not equipped to handle, well, we got to go back to the basics to figure it out ourselves. I would have never thought I would have had to learn how to properly protect myself in order to proceed. But yet I talk about energy all the time. So the common sense, the common knowledge is there. But I wasn't grounding the common knowledge. Like, it wasn't clicking. Here you go, buddy. So the fact that we're talking about this, and to be quite honest with you, you guys mean more to me than that situation. And I love them. But that's the God honest fucking truth. I'd rather help thousands and thousands than to choose a situation that's still extremely karmic for me. And it is tough. I just saw something. It is tough because I truly do feel like I will end up with this person. There's no question. It just might not be until next week or 2 years from now. But you guys are where I'm at. I'm your reader. We click. There is something in our Akashic records that click. So we have to take what I'm talking about extremely seriously. They can't keep upgrading us. We can keep evolving, right? And we keep doing this and we keep mastering other things. But are we ever really going to do what it is we want to do if we're not going back to the basics? I am just, it's so fucking crazy. I still can't wrap my head around it. But it's true. I can't bypass it. And I didn't have a guide. I didn't have a teacher. I didn't have that. Like, I just went into it. It was a gift. It was here. Bam. So of course I'm not going to be like, oh, all right, well, now I got to go back to that. Like, it's not a thing. We're not programmed that way. It has to be taught and explained. I mean, this chick, this healer had to break it down to me like 4 different ways for it to fucking click. Oh, I was in an accident, this and that. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Like, and I couldn't wrap my head around why she was telling me all these things because it was bringing me back to the same thing. But then it's like that one example she used, I was like, oh, fuck. I know what she's talking about now. You know? And I still laughed and I was like, blah, 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 like ranting and raving a fucking spirit. That's, but if they were just to give me certain messages or that through her, like at one point she was like, you probably wouldn't wrap your head around it. And I'm like, this bitch, she's fucking underestimate like this bit, like seriously. But now it's all making sense because I would have took that, but how could I have taken that and taken that to the next level if I'm not starting at square one? It's just. And then she started talking about gray areas and explaining gray areas. And I'm thinking to myself, bitch, I've been talking about gray areas for a fucking year. Like I was getting insulted. I wanted to walk out. But it all is making sense now. And that's the way it was supposed to be. See what I'm saying? Fuck, man. And now I can really see what's actually happening. And yeah, it was meant to happen. They couldn't really stop it as much as they wanted to stop it. Like it's in my record, it's in my Akashic, it's in hers, it's in his. See what I'm saying? It's not just as easy as we're gonna just walk out of the scenario. No. We're in the energy. We stepped into the self node. Like, no. So we'll get there. And that song just came to me. This girl is on fire. You'll get, and now it's like I don't have a worry in the world. I'll get there. I got to the point where I was underestimating my own self and this and that. And I questioned for a long time. Well, when I hang out with this, it's not good. When I do that, I knew the lower energy was coming from that end. I wasn't naive to that. I wasn't able to place it. So now, if this is actually meant to be with me and him, I also got to play part of protecting not only my own energy, but the energy around us for us to be able to proceed. Because if he doesn't know how to do it or he doesn't believe in it, and it's just a lot. And if he ever heard me say that, he's going to be like, oh, you're going to use voodoo on me. You're going to do this. I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to do that. Like, so it's like, I even got to be careful, like what comes out of my mouth. So it's not interpreted in a different way. Oh, it's like the fuck, man. Got a headache. So no, this is not as simple as you just walking out of a situation. Just like these two fucking frickin' frack think it's just as simple as we're not going to talk about it and we're going to wrap it up and we're going to get a divorce and blah, blah, blah. No. That's even worse. They're just delaying the inevitable, which they've been doing for a very long time. It took me, like it's taking you, to come into their life, to fucking ding dong. I told him, and I've said this to you before, I think it was the first or second time we interacted. I said, I know why I'm here. You may not like it, and I know I am here to get you to where you need to be, whether or not we remain friends at the end of this. And it has, and I've kept my word without even knowing that I was keeping my word or really realizing it. I knew I didn't come back in just for dick. I mean, I've known this energy for 30 years. I wouldn't even go back into that situation just for that. I'd be like, I'm better off with a stranger. I know your fucking scenario. This is way more than penis. I just didn't know to what extent. You know? So then we had to push past the penis part. Well, more than that, wake the fuck up, motherfucker. You know? And then the other person has to push through that and realize, oh man, this isn't working. It's not going in my direction. Blah, blah, blah. Bitch, did you think it was going to go in your direction? Because you only stepped back in because I did. Not because you wanted fucking more. Or you just knew Court was fucking smart enough to put you where exactly you needed to be because the other person wasn't realizing the corrupt situation that they were in. Bye, bitch. Because that's how that's supposed to go down. And it's not because of me. It's because you're fucking with one of my best friends. And it makes sense that I went into this the way I did and not even on a spiritual level. It makes so much sense. It's all coming. It's all coming back to me now. And I'm telling you, if he was to watch this, he'd probably be pissed at me right now. You're choosing YouTube over us? Yep. You chose her over us. I teach, I guide. I came into your life to fucking help, to make you better. You came into my life to make me better. We're going on 2 years. We're not fucking better. So, fuck yeah, I'm going to use my scenario to teach you guys. Because there's not enough fucking people or readers that want to own. You know how many fucking readers that I've talking to that please don't tell them? Like, I know the collective is naive to that, but I'm not. You don't know how much, girlfriend, guy, I went through the same shit you're experiencing, and I had to stay stuck for fucking 3 years to realize I had to go back to the fucking basics. One of my best friends got so comfy sitting in the fucking dark. I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah, you are fine by yourself. But is that the life you really want to live? Because I know you want way more than that. I know you're a family man. I know you're this. I know you're that. So if you want to keep telling yourself that, so be it. But I, motherfucker, won't step out of your life until you really fucking get what I'm saying to you. So the lesson's not only on his end, the lesson was on my end, but it wasn't with him. It was everything. And I fucking called it out the minute I walked through the fucking door without realizing the extent to it until 2 years later, sitting right here, having this conversation with you. And I've tried to keep a certain situation private, but this affects every single one of us. We have to get back down to the basics. And you're probably like, oh, some of you are like, oh, fuck, I don't want to realize it either. And others of you are like, she has no idea what I'm talking about. I have a crystal around my neck. Well, have fun with your fucking crystal, bitch. Because I should be a prime example for you right now. That even me as a fucking light worker have been put in this fucking position. Because I didn't have a teacher. I'm teaching without being taught, and I am able to do that because of my wisdom, because of my knowledge, because of my past life, because of my gift. But I never learned the fucking basics. you know? And families are karmic too, guys. And it's like people don't want to see it. And until you really see it and you step out of it, you can't go back in and fix the problem. And I think that's what a lot of people right now are getting caught up. A lot of people, the people that you're dealing with are dealing with a lot of family karma and a lot of family drama. And it's everybody's bumping heads. And what they're not grasping is that it is okay to step out of something and take a step back and go back into it when it's time to go back into it to fix it. Because they just, you know, society and conditioning right now just says, you know, stick through it and try because you got to co-parent, you got to do this. It's like they're missing the bigger piece of the puzzle. They have to do the same thing that I am now learning that I have to do. You have to take yourself completely out of it. You have to sever the ties. You have to sacrifice that. It is an actual sacrifice. I don't know what type of karma you carry, but you need to sacrifice. It's not just stepping out. There's a lot of sacrificing that needs to be done in this situation. And that takes a person to get to a point to be vulnerable in their lives, to call it quits because it's just everything around them is broken. But you're dealing with people too, and their egos are involved. You know how much shit I went through, what I did, what I watched happen. Yeah. Have you ever healed from any of that? Or did you just put yourself back into your same scenario and work, or go right back to your addiction, or go right back to avoiding? Did you ever take care of any of this trauma? No, they haven't, because they don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This person everybody involved needs to sit the fuck back for a second and look at something from a different perspective. I'm dealing with an entire fucking family on their end that thinks what I do is extremely taboo. Think I give a fuck? No. My parents thought this was all fucking taboo. I had to literally block them out of my life and ignore them and without even realizing I was doing it for like almost a year. So I could get to where I needed to be. And then I got people in my life where it's like, I'm so tired of them saying, oh, I just need to be like solo, or I need to find myself. I need to do this. And it's like, it's so fucking insulting to me because I came into your life. I'm part of your happy. And you know that. But for some reason, you still want to push it away. And you're pushing it away because you're not getting to the real problem. It's like the terms and the conditions of the previous contract. So I know exactly what you guys are dealing with. We're all dealing with pretty much the same exact fucking scenario, but it's coming in differently for everybody. It still comes down to the same scenario. Because if they're not willing to find the solution and understand, you have to know where you're coming from and what is happening on your end for you to figure out what you have to do next. And I'm telling you, it's not just stepping out. And I can't call her and accuse her of doing this, and that. Like, it's not even that I wouldn't stoop to that level. It's only going to antagonize her. She's already about to reap what she sows because I am now aware of what's been going down. So as soon as, like I've said to you in months, as soon as you're aware, shit shifts. As soon as you're picking up on it, shit shifts. And my guides did step in because it was just like 2 nights ago or a night ago, I was like saying like all this stuff. And then I woke up the next day, yesterday, or whatever it was, like, So they had to step in because it was at the point where she can't process this and it's not cool. Time to talk to the upper council. It is now time to reap what you sowed. She's now getting it. Now that she's getting it, let's not get it to the point of where I was almost at. And it wasn't taking my own life, but it was, it was a lot. I gotta rinse the bathroom. I'm doing the pee dance. So this is a huge conversation we're having. Huge. It's an awakening for all of you. This is a download for all of you. I'm dead serious. Yo. Love you. And just like on the board the other day, do you remember? Do you remember? And it took me to read a different way too, for stuff to start coming out. But do you remember I was like, I talked about my ex-husbands and I talked about snitches and the stitches, and I didn't want to get into it in case Mia was doing so clearly this kid's involved. But it's more than that. This woman has been slandering your name and using it against you. And I don't know if the person you were dealing with was kind of like feeding it, like kind of like, well, I don't believe in what she does either, and blah 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 blah, or she's just a friend, or blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like they never really stood up for you because, which makes sense. I'm not saying they're an asshole. I mean, it's an asshole move and it's arrogant, but how, like, they don't, if they don't believe in what you do, then they can't really protect you either. Well, no, it's saying it wrong, because they don't need to believe in what you do, but they need to believe that you believe it enough, right? And they need to be okay with that. But they also have to be able to stop protecting you, because this woman has been slandering your name, and she's probably doing it with the children and he doesn't even realize it, or she's doing it with the family. She's sticking her nose in where it doesn't fucking belong because she doesn't want me and him together. And it's shocking to me that I'm having this conversation with you guys, because it can ruin me and him. And I'm just at the point where I don't care. There's a bigger lesson here. There's karma. There's this. And my spirituality will always overpower a man in my life. Because this is my strength. And it's not that I can't confront my weaknesses. I do it all the time with you guys too. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is huge. This is a big deal. Now that we kind of know what's going on and going down, whether they want to say it or not. She is slandering your name, and he probably was just not protecting you, or because he still felt the need to protect her. You see what I'm saying? It's like strange dynamics. So I can't blame him there, but there's no way in HELL that as of right now, where me and him stand, he knows he has to protect me. And we came into this with him feeling the need to protect me anyway, because I remember him saying that and he didn't realize why. Well, this is why. Because you're dealing with somebody that has ill intent against me. So his intuition was already talking to him, just like mine was when I stepped into it. And sometimes other people need other people to bring themselves out of trauma bonding situations. And it doesn't mean it's not a bad thing, and it's not saying that he's weak. It just took a strong person like me and to have a strong belief in certain stuff and know how to go about things the right way to get somebody out of a situation like that. But it makes sense. We've all been talking about energy and this and that and for a while now. Now it's we really got to learn to protect ourselves and go back to the basic, because they're either along for the ride or they're not. But my YouTubers have to go back to the basics. You know? So it really is a big deal. And it's so much more. I can't stress it. It's so much more than just walking out of the situation. And yeah, it now is in spirit's hand because everything played out. And the way it played out, it is a final ending for them. Um, but I don't think anybody knows the extent of karma. And because if they don't believe in it, then that's part of that karma too. They're just watch shit get worse and worse and worse and worse until they start realizing there's a bigger fucking power at play. You know? I need to take some Tylenol. So it's there's a lot going down, and they have to play part to get to where they need to be with you, and you need to play part just in general for you. It's like you both went into this to kind of protect each other, but you didn't know why. Now I know why he felt the need to protect me, and I've always been extremely protective over him. And it's because he's got somebody around him that is working against him and doesn't want the best for him. But people can't see that when they're in a certain situation. Like, you know how your friends always like, oh, this and that, like they'll call it out because you don't see it because you've been in it. Well, you don't want to believe it. We all come in with karma. Apparently, I signed up to have 4 babies and end up getting a divorce and having it go down that way, but being strong enough to mourn him, knowing that I had to be strong enough because I needed to still play mom. Right? Other people don't necessarily take that route, and it takes them a lot longer to get out of it because they don't want to see something, because somebody made them believe that it was their fault on why they actually left. And that will come back and bite her in the ass for that too. and they believe it and they can convince themselves of it because things didn't work out between them, so they can process it as if it makes sense to them. But what they're not picking up on is the emotional manipulation and the games that were played that they were unaware of. So they look at it like, yeah, wow, I was the bad guy. Well, yeah, you played a big role in being the bad guy, but she played a bigger role not having your back when she needed to have your back. And then when he left or she left, the masculine or feminine felt like it was their fault. Like they did something wrong because they can acknowledge certain stuff that had gone down throughout the years. And like I said, it was like her excuse to get out. I've had this conversation. We've been having this whole conversation for 2 years now. It's now all coming into play. It's all making sense to us now, right? But not your job to tell them that. They'll figure it out. I'm pretty sure they're already figuring it out. And they're the ones with the heart of gold and they don't want to break their heart. But what they don't realize is that this woman or man already broke your heart. Like it's just, it's it's a lot to fucking fathom. You all knew 2 years ago or a year ago that that wouldn't last, that wouldn't work. Yeah, but it was all from like the basics, all the more Zane stuff. Oh, she's jealous, but now we're really getting down to the bigger problem here, and it's not fixed by society or it's not. It's how you talk to your guides and how you address it and how you look at it and how it's all coming together. Because if you end up with this person, it's not your job to protect them either, but in a way, it is. You got to protect your space, you know, especially if it's their mother or their kid's mother. And it's extremely unfortunate that it will play out that way, probably the same way it played out for you, because that's the last thing you wanted for that person. Because you have probably a heart of gold like me, and you would never want to find him or hope that he wouldn't have to experience what you did, what you had to experience, because it's awful. It doesn't benefit the children. But apparently that's the way it's supposed to be, because the two of you together do not work good together. The two of you together, even co-parenting right now, do not benefit the children. So until you can literally fucking break away from that and stop giving and stop trying to protect other energies, stop trying to, I don't want to hurt them. Not your fucking problem. It is not your karma. I was strong enough to step out of mine because it was probably in my Akashic records to be this person here and now for him and from you guys and from my children. And trust me, he will not be happy with this video if he watches it. She will not be happy with this video if she watches it. They would never want their kids to come across this video. Me, I was using him as an example from when my kids went through their first breakups and certain stuff. I used him for an example. My kids knew about him before he even came back into my life because he was my first love. I lost my virginity to him, everything. So when I was trying to relate to my kids before I even realized how I relate to you guys and how I do what it is I do, I was already doing that with my children. And I still never made him out to be a bad person or her. I looked at it like, hey, at least it worked in their benefit. No, it didn't. It didn't. You know? So he's not going to be happy with this video. He's not going to be happy. He would never want his kids to see this. But that's poor on his end because his kids won't learn or evolve. And he's probably underestimating what his kids are already aware of in their own beliefs. They would probably be like, that makes perfect fucking sense. And they're gonna love their mother. I'm sure she's a fine mother, a great mother. I don't know. It's not her relationship with her children or her relationship with her children. I don't play a part with that. But I sure as fuck came into your life for a reason. And it's not because maybe, yeah, it's his own karma, you know? This could be the love of my life and I end up marrying him. But it's going to be after he figures out his own shit from help from me. And he's helped me out in certain ways too. And we came into each other's life to lift each other up, not bring each other down. You know? And I don't even think it'd be a bad thing for his older children to even watch this. There's no hatred. This is life. This is how shit works. His kids could actually watch shit like this and mom and dad don't even fucking know because they don't want mom and dad to know because they were raised not to believe or to have that belief. Or you know what I'm saying? But maybe it's meant for their kids to have me in their life so they could see a different perspective than a one-sided situation. See what I'm saying? Everything happens for a reason. You have to own your truths. His kids are old enough. His kids are the same age as mine, except for his younger. You know? Was my heart weighed against the feather of truth? Did it hurt you? I spent 17 years on 17 Earth hours. Huh? I'm not being sarcastic. I'm looking for someone who's been through hell. Who's been to hell? Yeah, well, of course I've been to hell. I'm a light worker. We just don't not go through things. The real light workers and the star seeds and all that. Yeah. You know? And yeah, light workers expose lies and certain stuff. He was not going to like this video. And if she's been watching, she probably has. She's not going to like this video either. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. We gotta live an authentic fucking life, people. Yeah, we also come in to tear down other people. Yeah, if yeah, there's so much I can say to that on a more Zane level, but you know, unfortunately, when people don't believe in certain stuff, it takes them a lot longer, and shit has to really crumble in a different way for them to let that happen. But I have his back, and I love him, and I don't want shit to fall apart like that. I want to be there for him, but there's been times I had to take myself out of it because he has to go it alone because he's choosing not to let me help or choosing not to let me support him. And I do truly believe a lot of the times that I had to step out is because he was, you know, protecting me from her, whether he was aware of it or not. But it was also his job to fix it and to call certain shit out, you know, that he didn't do. Clearly, because I'm sitting right here having this conversation with you and talking about voodoo and ill intent. But it had to come down to that. So it's not necessarily something he did wrong. I mean, it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. It wasn't calling out. He probably knew it was wrong that he wasn't calling it out. But he does not have time anymore to sit on his ass and decide. Decision's already been made. And we've been talking about that. Spirit will make the decision too. Time's been ticking. He loves to say to me, I hate that you give me an ultimatum. I'm not giving you an ultimatum. I'm doing the best thing for me. And I'm trying to get you to realize you want happier in your life. You want more stability. You want more balance. You want more inner peace. You have to make a decision. It's not me giving you an ultimatum. You know? So, needless to say, and I can still have this video and say they won't like it. I can still have this video knowing that me or my children will watch. And that's okay too. They're not going to look at him any different. And if they did, I would sit down and have a conversation with them and explain to them, like, you don't have to look at him any different. You guys are going to experience the same exact shit with the person that you love off and on throughout the years of certain stuff. Like every child will go through the same thing. It would just be a different, we all come in with our own fucking karma, guys. You know? So it's a lot. But if you really get in tune with who you are and what you want, and you're honest and you're an authentic person, and that's all you want at the end. I mean, at the end of the day, honest to God, you won't go wrong. You can't go wrong because you're being true to yourself. And I do cut him a lot of slack, but it's because of our situation. It's not because he deserves for me to cut him slack. He's fucking lucky I came into his life. And I truly mean that from a good space in my heart, that I am forgiving and I'm an understanding person, and I know exactly where you're at in life, and this is why I can accept certain stuff. It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt me. You know? So as soon as he starts like really picking up on certain stuff like that, like the dynamics change. But it's not for me to constantly remind him who we are or why I came in, or it doesn't work that way. You get to where you are in life with that inner peace and inner calm through changing your own perspective. You know? So again, like I said, I'm a big advocate for wanting to, deal with your karma, which is part of your past. I gotta fucking those people. It's not my story. I don't want the past back. Well, I get what you're saying, but if it comes back, it's karma. It's because you're not picking up on something, or you got a wall up, or you don't want to be vulnerable, or you don't want to get hurt again, or you know what I mean. But you weren't saying that when you were in love with that person at that point. How do you know it's not another person that's actually going to come back? And try to make things right. My scenario is tough. I don't know what they did in a past life, but I know if I came into his life and we feel the need to protect each other, he's not the one throwing out ill intent. He might have been and going along with it and not protecting me when he should have. But now we're at the point where you do what's necessary, or this part of this lifetime is done. And I'm okay with that. I know if he's not my person to take myself out, I know somebody else will come in. But I don't need somebody else to come in either. See what I'm saying? We're in a tricky situation, and I do cut him slack because we've all known each other for 30 years. And I've told you this story before. Before he even came into my life, I used him as an example for you guys. Not only do I do it with my children, I did it for you guys. Sure as fuck, he came back into my life. And I knew in my soul that I would get him to where he needed to be, whether it wrecked me and him at the end or not. And I'll stay true to my word. And if we're not meant to be and it's time for me to step out, it might not be today or tomorrow, but it will be within a decent amount of time where he picks up on it so he doesn't do this again with somebody else. And if I was just strictly meant to be a catalyst, then so be it. I think another reason why I didn't go into this spiritually. It wasn't a coincidence that all of us didn't step into our next scenario spiritually. I think a big part of it was to benefit us so we didn't get hurt again, or to convince ourselves that this person is this person and that person. But it was also to benefit them. So I don't know how many scenarios started off like mine did, but a majority of you probably knew one or the other around the same time or beforehand, before you two, came together. Because you're all linked. And even if it's like his kid's mom and you never met her, or say you didn't know her from umpteenth years ago, it's still karma between the two of you from a past life. So she would still cause turbulence for you and him. It's not just their karma, guys. This is a big, big message for you guys. But when I can sit back and look and it's like, damn, what did you two do in a past life? And I'm like, I say to myself, like, why did I have to be the person to step back in? But it makes sense. Whether he brought me back in to spite her, or it doesn't matter what he thought. That's not why. It doesn't matter what I thought. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. And it's like I'm trying so hard not to fucking call it out, but I've already called out so much shit. I might as well just fucking tell you from the beginning. He is the one that was my first everything. He was my first love. He was my first, I lost my virginity to him, everything. She was my best friend. He cheated on me with her. They had children and got married. They separated. 20-something years later, Court comes back in. Court has been friends with him for 30 years. We have met up throughout the years. We have gotten coffees behind the years, behind our husband's back, behind our wife's back. We never fucked around. We were never disloyal. But we have remained friends. So, it is a lot, and that's why I cut him a little slack. But it's also for him to realize it's a lot, guys, that I've been going through. Doesn't make him a bad person. We've always had that, you know? And we didn't cheat on our spouses. We never did that. But there was stuff throughout the years that we've kept from them, knowing that they would be pissed off and angry because my ex-husband knew who he was, and clearly his wife or whatever, knew who fucking I was. So me and him from 16 on, even when they got together, would fuck around. I would purposely leave underwear in their car. I would purposely hit her up and be like, I fucked him. I purposely did that shit. All that stopped when I was like 18, 19, and we kind of went our ways. And then after that, we didn't sleep together until I came back into his life, like on a different level where we were both single. You know what I mean? So welcome to the world that I've been in. So I don't know what the fuck the two of them did in a past fucking life, but they got some heavy ass fucking karma, and you should know better. And I've said this without even seeing this. If you end up with somebody and somebody cheated on somebody to be with you, you're not building anything on a solid ground. So they were destined for doom from the very beginning. They betrayed me in a past life. Absolutely. They betrayed me in this lifetime. But if me and him are meant to be, it will be. And he's got to step up to the plate and put her where she needs to be. And she don't fucking like it. And I get it. And I feel bad. I'm like, why does this even have to happen? Because I don't even want him to be in a position to choose. Because that's his kid's mother. I'm not an asshole. I'm a good person. But their shit is their shit. I purposely came back in because the two of them weren't seeing something. It wasn't because of ill intentions. See how life works? It is because frickin' Frack didn't want to see something. And the only way to see it is to have it clearly in your face or something. You know what I mean? And throughout the years, it wasn't a bad thing. I was always like, when I used him for an example, guys, even with my children, there was never ill intent. I just sat with them and I said, you know what? I said, I know what it feels like when they both, like, the older girls went through like their first love. And I'm like, do you know how hard it was for me? I lost my best friend. I lost my lover and my boyfriend. I lost my best friend at the same time. It was like a double whammy. It was for real a double whammy. You know, we were all young. I don't hold grudges, but this is how life works. If your first love comes back into your life and they're separated and you all know each other and you're still going to be friends and you're still going to do this and you know what I mean? Like, it's life, guys. It's life. If you truly love somebody, if them two truly, truly were in love with each other, I never would have came back into the picture. If me and Danny were truly in love with each other, we never would have got a divorce. We all have our experiences to teach us and to evolve through life. So while they're dealing with their own shit, I think they both forget what I'm dealing with. I'm taking on a whole lot, and that's karma on my end to actually forgive a lot of shit if me and him are actually going to be together. So, like I said, it's not just their karma, guys. It's not an awful story. It's not that. It's not this. It's this is life. This is life. You don't think this can happen to your children, or you don't think this could happen to you? You all make your own fucking judgment calls. You know what I mean? If I came back into his life, he's not the one throwing ill intention my way. He is. It doesn't work that way, you know. And it is. I don't think it's a bad thing to tell you guys this. I've told you guys this before he came back into my life. I'm just a private person, but in all reality, this is such a serious situation that's happening that you need to be aware of. Because even if she is a good person, but she really is praying that me and him don't work out because she don't like me because of everything that went on throughout the years. I get it. You know what I mean? But it's not right. It's still not right. Clearly, they were meant to be together. Clearly, they were meant to be together to learn from each other, to pick up on things from each other. It doesn't mean that they were meant to stay together. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing, and it's not, oh, poor Courtney, and blah, 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 blah. But I'm just, this is the reality of karma when it comes back around. This is a prime fucking example. You know, you don't think that's a lot on their end? You don't think it's a lot on his end? You don't think it's a lot on my end? But if me and him are truly meant to be together, it will get resolved. And I didn't go in with ill intention or no intention on catching feelings again. I wasn't naive that clearly it could happen. You know what I mean? Because there's always that connection, but you got to know when to leave a connection too. How do I know I just didn't stick around because it was a comfortable zone, or maybe inside of me I really did want revenge but I didn't realize it? I mean, I know I didn't, but I'm just using different examples, you know. So then how do I know he doesn't have that fear? Well, what I did to you, you just end up doing to me, and blah 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 blah. Well, that's not on me to make him feel better or convince him I won't do that. It's not about that. It's what every individual can get through on their own by processing shit. It's not him having my back and protecting me, so I'm going to be able to heal quicker or easier. No, it's for each individual to process and take what they need to take from this situation. It's not a bad situation. It seems rough, but how do I know that everybody won't eventually learn and actually feel bad for like certain shit? And I'm not saying what happened umpteenth years ago. We were children. I'm just using it as an example, as the tables can turn real quick. And 5 years from now, his ex-wife and my ex-husband and me and him could be married for all I fucking know. And we're all sitting down having a fucking barbecue and getting along. It's for each individual to process. It's for each individual to get real. So people don't leave a situation and then all of a sudden your past comes back. Whenever the past comes back, or another girl comes in, or another guy comes in, of course the past is going to want something back, or they think they do. It's jealousy. If I didn't come back, they probably wouldn't even have fucking wanted each other back. See what I'm saying? And I didn't come in for them to realize that. I came in for everybody to realize where we all stood in a situation. So it's not an awful story. He's not an awful person. She's not an awful person. Shit fucking happens throughout the years. It's for everybody to understand where they stand right now. Regardless if you all know each other or you don't. Because if you don't know each other, you certainly knew each other from another lifetime, because there's karma at every fucking corner. And I can't stress enough, it's not for you to be like, all right, I'm just going to step out of this. I am telling you something extremely personal. That could wreck me and him. But if that's the case, then so be it. This is the way it was supposed to end. I have a huge group of collective that needs to know what the fuck is actually happening, whether she has ill intent or not. It could just be her own anger. How the fuck do you think she feels? I can sympathize with her too. That's a big blow to her too. How could you not think that me and him were fucking around for umpteenth years if I am back in this scenario? There's a lot for her to process. There's a lot for him to process. There's a lot for me to process. This is everyday fucking mundane life. This is what karma looks like. Your scenario, that's what karma fucking looks like. But at the end of the day, if you do what's best for you and you're fucking honest with yourself, you have the fucking answers you want. I don't think I came back just to say goodbye. No way. No. No. I didn't need closure. So, and I hate to call you out like that, but there's something you're not picking up on, because I did not come back in to say goodbye to him. I never needed closure. I forgave that situation a very long time ago. We were all teenagers. I don't hold grudges. I came back in to help. He came back in to help me. We came back into each other's life to lift each other up, not to bring each other down. And this is why I'm talking about this with you guys. I would have said goodbye a long time ago. I said goodbye a long time ago. I never thought about him over the years like that. I never thought we would get back together. I never thought we would catch feelings again. We didn't fuck around or cheat on our husbands or wives with each other. Did we meet up here and there and have a conversation here and there? Yeah, we did. But that's not a bad thing. There was never any ill intentions behind it. We weren't doing it to hurt them or anything. It's clearly me and him have had something. There's clearly something there. And it could just be a friendship. And he needed me at the time. And little did I know that I need him. Or I didn't physically need him. I feel like he needed me. I didn't physically need him per se, but I needed to go through that experience to understand that I needed to get back to the basics here and now, because that's what I needed for me to learn my lesson. It didn't have to be about him. It's about the fucking scenario. It's how something's being played out. I don't agree with you on that one. She says, yes, I think you did. If you don't need closure, you wouldn't be back. That's not true. How do you know he didn't? That's not true. I just said that to you. He needed me for a reason, and I needed him. And it wasn't for a personal relationship or to fall in love. It was the fucking answer I just gave you. And I don't mean to sound like that, but it's like you can't be naive to this situation, guys. You're being one-sided. You're not having a different perspective. And that's the fucking truth. No, absolutely the door was never closed like that. But do you leave every situation with a friendship and remind yourself to close a fucking door? Let's be fucking very realistic here. We absolutely needed each other. There was no karma, there was no nothing until we caught feelings. The first year was bliss. And then we have to deal with our shit. And then now it's like we deal with our shit or we don't. If you don't deal with your shit, I'll deal with my own karma because now we both know what it is. So if you can't look at this from a different perspective, then you're not going to pick up on anything with this read. You can help him without stepping into his cycle. Trust me, I know how to step out of his cycle. See, some people will understand what I'm getting at and others will not. And it's okay. But it's just, I'm not even going to get into it. If you cannot change your perspective and still be naive to only one way of looking at something, then this video is not going to benefit you. I came on to have this conversation with you guys, not even knowing it was going to go down this way, to benefit all of us. And now I know how to proceed in certain stuff. And like I said, if you're watching this, some way, somehow, you're going through the very same thing when it comes to karma. Like our Akashic records, like we're going through the same thing, like, you know, how we're all born in certain planets and transits. We're all linked. Else this wouldn't be coming out. And trust me, if I need to shut the door, I will shut the fucking door. But other times, if that door needs to open, whether we want to shut it or not, it will. Oh, I'm definitely hands down risking it being over for me and him with this video. There's no question. But if that's the way it's supposed to be, then that's the way it will be. Because I believe in what I do. And he will see this differently. And if it's not time for him to see it this way, it's not my problem. I'm not going to cater to him. I'm not going to not confront the elephant in the fucking room anymore. That's the reality of this situation. And whether she's wishing ill intent like that, then that's on her. I don't want to think she is, but that could be me being naive. But I don't want to be that person and use that as an excuse on why I don't want to be in his life. That's not fair to him. So, like I said, you really got to be able to change your perspective and look at things differently. If it's the end of me and him, he definitely learned something with me being in his life, whether it was out of spite or not. And I definitely learned a big lesson regarding energy in my life that I needed to learn that I wouldn't have learned without him actually stepping into it. So I know how to handle my situation. And I'm being dead honest. If you guys can't relate or you can't, look at it from a different perspective and be naive about the situation, then good luck to you. Because I'm not naive to the situation. I've been in it for almost 2 years. And it's been some heavy karma for the last year. And I've made my way in and out through guidance and through intuition and through what I've learned in life. I won't be stepped on. And I am who I am, and I'm an influencer and a light worker and a lot of things. And I love what I do and I believe in what I do. And he can either suck that up and be like, wow, I have a wonderful woman in my life, or he can let his ego get the best of him and say, I can't handle this. Because if he wasn't going to let the ego get the best of him, he would understand that there's unconditional love and people grow and learn from the mistakes. And he would be able to look at it as, wow, I have a wonderful woman in my life and I'm extremely fortunate that she came back into my life and she stood by my side. That won't change about me, whether he's meant to be in my life or not. And for you to say that I deserve better, there's a lot of shit on your end. There's a lot of growth on your end that you need to do. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. Because I know what the fuck I deserve. And I will take myself out of it. Why do you think I deserve better? Why would you think that? You think that because of past shit and how shit went down. I get real tired of people saying I deserve better. I know exactly what the fuck I need in my life. And I will never settle. It's his karma, it's my karma, it's her karma. Just like this video is meant for you because there's karma here for you. Oh, I know it's going to benefit a lot of people. I just am trying to get her to kind of see something. And when people say, Court, you deserve better, I don't need somebody to tell me what I need because I'm already that woman. I'm already that woman that values her self-respect and her belief in her children and so many things. Like, so you don't know me well enough. That's what it really comes down to. You're not really getting what I'm saying here. I know what the fuck I deserve. Just because I'm telling you this story, you're taking this story and you're basically saying because me and him have a past and we're all linked, that it will never be good enough. And that's naive of you. It is annoying. And that's why I said, but like certain people would say that to me too, and like certain friends, and I'll stop talking about it with them because they're being naive. They're being naive to the situation. And that's when you know you got to dead a conversation, because I am a strong enough person, and I value myself. And this is why I'm in the situation I'm in. Um, I won't ever sweep anything under the rug with him, and he knows that. And I've said this to you over the years. It's got to be real tough on him because he probably hasn't met another woman like me. I will address everything, and it won't be swept under the rug. If it needs to get brought back up, eventually it will get brought back up when it's supposed to be brought back up. So it's not really me protecting him or not seeing something. It's your own shit. If you can literally say I deserve better, but that's your own shit that you need to work on. I don't need to prove to you where I'm at in life, and I know what I need and what I don't need. So I do find it, like you ladies, extremely annoying because you have enough balance between your mind and your soul to know what's best for you. Someone else, it's not okay for somebody to come in and do this or that. And I probably have done that myself too. Like, oh, you deserve better. But I think I've only used that example with him, and I don't think I've ever said like you deserve better. I think I've used the example with him like we deserve better. Like we can't get to where we need to be until we can get on solid grounds, so we can work on us. Cuz not only does he have to work on his shit, I need to work through my shit. He's not the only one making sacrifices. Everyone wants to think, "Oh, he did the right thing and this and that." I'm sacrificing a lot too. I'm chalking a lot of stuff up. I'm swallowing a big lump in my throat too. Like, and for her on her end, this has got to be so incredibly hard for her. But the way she's going about it is wrong, and that will catch up too. You see what I'm saying? It's up to each individual, but everybody plays their part. I don't think this conversation will wreck me and him, but if it does, then that's how that was supposed to come out. That's how that's supposed to be, you know? I know if he watches this, he will not be happy with me because probably his ego will get in the way and think people will judge him. And I'm not judging him. This is who I am. This is how I learn. This is how I heal. This is how I teach. This is how I guide. I didn't expect to find myself in this situation, you know? And for those who are truly grown and can see things from my perspective, then you would never even look at him as being a bad person. You think I was any better when I kept coming in and sleeping with him on purpose and hitting her up? You think I was any better? Do you think she's supposed to like me? But I can also sympathize with her. How do you think she's felt this entire time? And then I'm back in the picture. You don't think she's questioned if me and him have ever done this or done that? Has her marriage been a complete lie? I can sympathize with this chick too, in a heartbeat. But that's not my problem. That's on her and where she's at in her life to handle that. That's why I just said that it is up to all three of us, all of us in all these corners, to have a different perspective and handle your own fucking shit. It wouldn't be fair to me to not have any compassion towards her. But it's also not fair to me to bring me back in and not address the elephant in the room. And the first time ever had a conversation with her again, when I came back into his world, that's the first thing I said. No, we've never betrayed you, just so you know. You know what I mean? Because that was extremely important for her to know, because I don't want her for 1 second thinking that her marriage was for nothing. They clearly had something together. But when two people are meant to be, they're meant to be. And that's just the way it is. Yeah, it can be a mess. But what do you do with messes, Julie? You clean them up. And if they can't be cleaned up, then you take yourself out of it. I'm a big fucking girl. I know how to take myself out of shit. If I wasn't a big girl and I didn't know how to handle the situation, I wouldn't have put myself in this situation. I wouldn't have had this conversation with you guys. It's only a mess when you don't clean up your fucking mess. It's only a mess when you don't own the truth. It's only a mess when you don't do the right thing. It's only a mess when you let shit linger. Because if everybody addressed what needed to be fucking addressed, it wouldn't be a fucking mess. Everybody could go on with their lives. I taught you not to involve yourself with third parties. Yeah, it'd be different if everybody was fucking each other. Not everybody's fucking each other. You don't think people have ex-wives and ex-husbands and children? Or Karens and fucking Peters in their world? There's a big difference when somebody lives with their husband or lives with their wives and cheats. That's what I taught you guys. Well, yeah, betrayal's more than physical. When somebody has an emotional relationship with somebody else on the outside, that's cheating, hands down. That's not a position you put yourself in. Me and him came back into each other's lives when we were single. I don't mean to be rude, but it's not your business to know what I want out of this situation. But I promise you it's not ill intent. And that's for all of us to figure out, or for me and him to figure out, or I'll figure it out on my own. Shit went down. We were young. We were teenagers. If you're going to hold that type of grudge against somebody, then I don't know how you've been living your life. But you can't be living a happy life. I don't know why you keep telling me betrayal is more than physical. I just said that. I don't understand why you keep bypassing what I'm saying. So, anywho, this was an extremely important lesson and topic and conversation for all of us to have. No matter what situation you're in, somehow you can relate. It's karma. It's what we're all going through karmically. If you are on my channel and you are watching this, we're all aligned. We ain't perfect. We're all grown ass adults. We make our own decisions, you know, and you can either own your faults or you won't, you know? I know you're not trying to piss me off. I'm just trying to give you a different perspective that you're not willing to see, you know? But I won't focus on it. And you didn't piss me off. I'm just more disappointed that you just don't have a different perspective. Because I just really feel like if you've been on my channel and I've helped you out, you should be able to have a different perspective. That's all I'm trying to say. You know, I know you're not trying to piss me off. And I do not regret getting into this situation at all. I don't. He happens to just be a big part of my life, you know? And if you think about it, I don't want to sound cheesy or unrealistic, but if he's my person, it's kind of crazy that, what if my first love ends up being my last love? Or, you know what I mean? Without, you know, I don't per se ever think about that and be like, oh, but if that does end up going down like that and we pushed through this much shit and we did it the right way and we supported each other through everything, what a beautiful story, honestly. And then we can live the lives that we want to live happily and know that we did it the right way. And that's the way you live. That's where happiness starts, with honesty. And if you're lucky enough to have somebody in your life and you guys are going to support each other through all that chaos and be able to lean on each other and not keep things from each other, that comes with humiliation and embarrassment and judgment and all that. Like, we'd be incredibly lucky if we were able and we were meant to find our way back to each other like that, because we both are completely two different, like, we're a lot alike, but we're two very strong individuals, you know what I mean? And I'm in one world and he's in another world, but yet we can still come together and support each other and thrive together. And it would be even more of a stronger foundation, So no, I don't regret any of this. Things will play out the way they're supposed to play out, but it will be played out on my end the right way along the way. And if there needs to be time between or a complete ending, then that's the way it's going to go. But he's one of my best friends, and I know by me stepping back in has helped him. And without him actually physically helping me emotionally through this, he wasn't meant to help me emotionally through this because I came into him to help him emotionally. He still taught me, well, I wouldn't say he taught me, but me coming back into his life has taught me a lot more about energy and protection and how things can get so doo-doo when you allow things to linger. So regardless if we shut the door and it's a finality, we both have taught each other major shit for the next part of our lives. And if you guys can't take that from this story, then that I don't know what to tell you. Not my problem. If you guys have been with me for that long, you should be able to see some of the beauty. We got to come back to each other at extremely low points in our lives. and we shared amazing, beautiful moments. Like, because we were free from our situations and we could finally be ourselves and we were adults. And it became tricky when now things need to be handled. And that's not a bad thing. That doesn't mean, oh my God, I'm going to bail. Let's be realistic, honestly. So I'm just curious. As part of the old group, was he part of you changing the name of your channel? No. I kind of think I know what you're saying. I'm just curious. As part of the old group, was he part of you changing the name of your channel? No, I just knew there just needed to be change, and I've been saying that. And every change I want to make is based around energy. That was my big lesson here, to get back to the basics so I can start doing it the right way and in a different way. Um, and I still feel like I want to change the name of my channel until I get it right, you know. But yeah, no, it has nothing to do with him per se. I've been dealing with my own stuff throughout the years that I've been here with you guys, with ups and downs and karmics and catalysts and twins and blah blah. Like, never changed the channel then. It's just changing the vibe. Maybe, I'm not really sure, or just trying to find the right thing, the right name, the right, you know what I mean? And I'm getting there, you know. So there's so many questions, and I know it's like, Mary, it's like I want to be able to answer that too, but I got to keep some of this stuff private, you know. It's not easy, it can't be easy. It's not easy for her, it's not easy for me, it's not easy for him. But again, I feel like at the end of the day, if you're honest with what you truly want, you will find a way. And if that other person is not on the same wavelength as you, it's just not a thing. You don't stay in a thing hoping that person will get there. We've already learned that part. I think everybody's having a hard time committing to the situation. I think we all have to get to a certain point of, I wouldn't really say process. I'm not really sure. I just know for me, there's no ill intentions. And if me and him choose to work on it, we're going to work on it the right way. And I understand. I know you're just wondering. It's like, I get it. How could you not, you know? Um, I think realistically, we've been committed to each other since we came back into our lives, whether it's called out officially or not. Me and him know what me and him share. But it comes to the point where reality needs to come into play. And it's kind of when everybody's ready to face what needs to be faced. You know, me and him will hands down figure it out, whether we end up being friends or we end up being more. I mean, we're definitely more, it's a given. But like, there's all sorts of like, yeah, we're definitely in that space of figuring it out, you know. And it's going to take a lot on my end, and it's going to take a lot on his end. But if everybody could just be honest with themselves at the end of the day, this would just be so much easier. So if they're not ready to get honest, or I'm not ready to get honest, or if somebody in the scenario is not ready to get honest, it's going to be harder. But like I said, if me and him decide on doing what we decide to do, and we work on it, and we have each other's back, and we support each other, it's going to be chaotic for a little while. But I'd rather face the chaos than to let something linger. It's not like a blow to her face. That's on them two, on how they handle proceeding, moving forward, because them two still had a life together. That's not my part to play. My part to play would be if me and him decide to do what we need to do on our ends. That's how that works. It's not my job to get involved on how they play something out, but it is his job to stay on top of it. And it is his job to keep me in the loop so I feel safe in this connection too. Because you got to remember, I'm going through a lot too. I'm in this situation too. So when everybody can get to where they need to be, that's when spirit will say, okay, then, you guys can give it a go. Or that's how that works. You know what I mean? That's how that works. So, I can't answer all these tough questions, guys, like that. I can't completely just. I so want to answer these questions, but I have to have some type of boundaries. There is still a whole lot I haven't shared that I probably wouldn't share because there's still a whole bunch of me and him. I'm just bringing up the scenario and the basics and what we are dealing with. And the person that you guys are dealing with, the person that's been on my board, whether you know her or not, or if it's the other way around, there is still a link from your past life with this person because there's still some type of interference. Even if they're completely done and they shut the door and they're divorced, or they're wrapping up a divorce, however it goes down for you guys, they still have to play that role of calling out what they're doing next. The other person does need to be aware of that. Because if he wasn't to tell her, me and him are really going to try, I wouldn't get the best of him, because then that would be lingering in the back of his head how she's going to react to the situation, because clearly she doesn't want us together. Who would in this situation? You see what I'm saying? So as long as everybody's doing what they need to do on their end to make a situation right, then it will work out in the best way it can. But if somebody's not being honest, and we know there's not a lot of honesty on the board, whether it's her or him or everybody, then it's just going to take a lot longer to work through your shit. Of course she doesn't want us together. Who would? That is a huge blow. But if she could really sit back and realize it's not a blow, how about she sits back and looks at it as, wow, somebody actually this, and that. You know what I mean? There's so many different ways to look at it. If she can't be in that space to look at it from a different perspective and she can only hold on to the hatred and the pain in the past, then that's her own shit to work through. That makes sense? It's not my job to make him feel better about the situation. It's not my job to make her feel better of the situation. That's their shit. Me and his shit is me and his shit. Their guys' shit is their shit. But if I'm going to be in an intimate relationship with him, yes, he is going to have to keep me in the loop. Because I need to feel that security too. Because we all have the history here. That's the only way that shit works. So no, I'm not opposed to people rekindling stuff from the past. Do I think it's harder? Yeah. But I also feel like if you guys push through that, what a beautiful relationship that will come out of that. Because there's so many people that don't want to push through shit. There's so many people where it's like you get in another relationship where you do this and they don't want to think it was their fault on why the first marriage failed or the second marriage. And then they're realizing, okay, well, my first wife said this and that, but yet they still don't want to change who they are. And so they don't want to take fault for their own shit. Like, that's for them to realize. It's not for you to come in and have them realize, like, certain shit. Like, there's just so much more to that. Me and him will love each other no matter how this works out. It's a given. It's a given. And that's not me just having a big heart. It's really not. I got a huge heart, but I certainly know how to fucking cut cords. And I certainly won't let things suck my energy out. And I certainly won't let things get swept under the rug. And I certainly won't allow a gray area. Not when I know there's so many shifts. I will not stay in the same situation without progression. I will not stay stagnant. If he thinks he needs more time, he can have his time. He can go ride solo. Love you. I know what you're going through, trust me. It's not going to break me to back the fuck off. It's just not me being an asshole. But if you want in us, there's going to be shit that will be discussed, And that's the way it needs to be for everybody. Nothing works out unless there's mutual. It's more than mutual love. There has to be reciprocity. There has to be synergy. There has to be mutual respect. You have to get on the same page. If one or the other is not ready to get on the same page, they're not ready to own their shit. And it's not for you to stay in their life to help them figure that out. You're probably doing more harm by staying in their life. More harm for him, more harm for you. I know exactly what I'm doing. Well, I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I know exactly what I'm doing. I won't take the easy way out, and I won't not address the elephant in the room, if that makes sense. But no, I don't know exactly what the fuck I'm doing, because I can't believe I even found myself in this situation again. But I won't look at it as a bad thing. If there could be a me and him and we're going to support each other, then there absolutely will be a fucking me and him. And there will be a very strong, powerful me and him. And it's the type of power we both need to thrive off of. We're both very aware of the scenario. I can see the gray area because I'm in it, because I'm me. There's a big difference. And I've been talking about a gray area with him for over a year now. So I'm not worried about that part for me. You think spirit put me in this position if I wasn't ready and I couldn't handle this position? I came in to help him. If spirit thought I couldn't handle it, I wouldn't have been put in that position. Does that make sense? Some people need other people to come into other people's lives to benefit them, to get them out of certain situations. That's why we all have catalysts. That's why we all have this. So that's why people take advantage of this and they take advantage of that. It's not, that's how fucking life works. That's why we have best friends. That's why we have that's how fucking life works. And no, I truly, honestly believe that I don't miss the gray areas between my intuition, what I do for work, life, just having this conversation alone should tell you that I don't do gray areas. Honestly. So, I hate to leave it on that note, maybe like 5 more minutes. You know what I mean? Um, but I didn't tell this story and come into this to make him look bad or make her look bad or make me look like I didn't know what I was doing or you know what I mean? Like it's not the point. The point of this is to just know where you're at and to be able to change your perspective about things because we all have a past. We all love who we love. We all need to make decisions. Is it worth it? Is it's draining my energy? Is it worth it? I just repeated myself. You know what I mean? There's a lot of patterns me and him have repeated throughout the last year. I'm not naive. I'm not, you know? I think the bigger picture is the bigger scenario, is the karma that's involved. And I please don't take it lightly when I tell you it's you're not just going to be able to clear karma by walking out away from the scenario. You kind of need to be aware of ill intentions and this and that. Somebody doesn't want you to be with somebody and they're going to cause interference and they feel like they have the upper hand because they played the bigger part or this and that or you know what I'm saying? Like I mean there's I feel like everything I say I can like add on another thing and it's like I'm not trying to do that right now cuz I have an appointment soon, but um it's extremely naive to think that you don't have to hash out your own karma or realize you keep being put into the same situations on you guys' end. I mean, how many times are you going to keep ending up in the same situation with just a different person? My scenarios with each person that comes into my life is not the same situation. It's a different lesson from me so I can teach you guys. I'm not doing the same thing with each person. I'm not repeating the same thing. A majority of the collective are repeating the same scenario because you're not picking up on the first or second, or you get what I'm saying? All my scenarios are completely different and they play out differently, each and every single one of them, honestly. And that's probably the way it needs to be for us to be able to have these conversations. And karma now is being served, and it will continue to be served. It's extremely important for you to acknowledge what's happening in you guys' situation, especially if the other person doesn't want to talk about it or doesn't want to do this or thinks it's just their business, or like you need to know where you stand, because you don't want to be caught in the middle of this while karma's going down. It will bring you down emotionally, physically, energetically. It will bring you down. Karma is it's been being served, but it's I'm talking karma right now is probably going to play out for a couple of years because of the ill intentions. So like if she's been hating on me for 2 years, for example, her karma will probably play out for 2 years. And then she'll have to just deal with whatever, and then might even get carried on into the next lifetime, depending on where her mental thoughts were. It's not my problem that he didn't take advantage of my knowledge to help him and her get through their own struggle too. He probably could have took my knowledge and took that to his advantage and made himself look bad. Like it can, what goes around comes around. It's, you reap what you fucking sow, and it's coming, and it sucks. So that's another reason why I won't stay in a scenario like this. No fucking way. When karma is being fucking served, I'm only staying in this scenario if me and him give it a go, and we can really support each other through this. If he can't do that right now, I will not be part of it. Mark my words, strike my kids dead, every outlet will be blocked, because I now realize what's happening. I'll protect my energy not only by clearing and healing and all this other stuff and teaching and going in different directions. It's more than just blocking the scenario. There's a big difference between blocking and moving forward. I will block and move the fuck forward. You will not be a thought like that. And that's not me being insincere or not having a fucking heart. That's me knowing where I'm at right now, working with energy. And part of my lesson and what I've been seeing, and I've been saying it for a year to myself. And now I'm seeing certain stuff. And even if it's not ill intent, she's poking things into fucking dolls, guys. She clearly doesn't want me with him. And that's okay. I can completely understand that. But if there's different intentions and they're ill and I'm unaware of it, and if that's the case, I chose to be unaware of it. Spirit's going to have that handled. It wasn't me being naive to the situation. That's not what this whole experience was. You know what I'm saying? That's her shit. That's their shit. That's not me and him. Me and him didn't come back together to be in the same situation that we were that long ago. This shouldn't have anything to fucking do with her anymore. They need to figure out how to have their relationship while he figures out how to have a relationship with me, and then we can all figure out how to have a relationship together when it comes down to it. If that's the route we go. There's a big fucking messages here for everybody. The wake up has already happened. If the wake up didn't happen, then things won't go in certain directions. The wake up already happened. If people can't be honest right now, here and now, you sure as fuck need to take yourself out of this scenario. I'm not playing with you guys. You will get dragged down. Your energy will get dragged down, if you choose to stay and think you're helping. There's no time for gray area here. Oh, I don't think she's poking things into dolls at all. That was just my explanation of like voodoo. Everybody thinks it's a doll and you're poking things. No, she could literally just be going to bed and saying her prayers or whatever she does, or she takes that time when she gets pissed off and knows I'm in the picture and can be like, please don't let them work out. Please don't let them work out. Please don't let her be part of my life. Please don't let this happen. Please. You know what I mean? That's all she's been having to do for 2 years. She's been stopping something. When she knows the two of them are not meant to be together and she's only interfering because I'm back in the picture, that's ill intentions. That's manipulation. Not only is she going to get karma on her end for what she's done to me, she will get karma on her end for what she's done to him because he had the big heart and didn't want to hurt her. So this karma is not little fucking karma. You know? No, she doesn't like me. Why the fuck would she like me? Honestly, why would she like me? You know? No. From the day she screwed me over for 2 years, I fucking purposely came in to betray her. We all have our shit. But that was all played out between the ages of 16 and 18. You know what I mean? After that, we were always kosher. We all went to school together. We all have mutual friends. It is what it is, guys. That amount of karma is between them. It's not me. I don't care about the mutual friends. I don't care if other people look at it as this or as that. That's not my problem. If me and him love each other at the end of the day and we decide to work on each other, don't care about the rumors. If people still want to create fucking rumors and slander my name, grow the fuck up. I just want inner peace and I just want to be happy. And I want a partner who wants the same fucking thing. And if we go through hell to battle hell because somebody else wants to cause hell, I'm okay battling with him. And that's the truth. But I won't battle alone. There is nothing wrong with me going back into this scenario. No, there's not. You can't control who comes back into your life and who doesn't. Or you can't let other people, I should say, you can't let other people control who comes back into your life and who doesn't. For all I know, fuck, he probably brought me back just to spite her. But that backfired on him too. Because he fell in love. So we love each other dearly. It's so unconditional. We will figure this out. We will be together or we won't. But we will still always have each other's back when we need to have each other's back. You know? I didn't stay in this situation because of love. I know I'm a clear example of knowing sometimes love is not enough. So I am not naive. 333. I knew this was going to end right around 333, and I just happened to look up, and it was 333. I even gave us 3 hours and 33 seconds, and we have, when I timed it, but I had already started before I put the timer on. And when I just looked, we actually had the 3 minutes and 33 seconds again. So I just saw that twice. But it's, I just hope you all take something way more than, I just hope you all take something from this, because that's the time. And I just saw 333 again because that's what my timer was on. I just hope you guys all take something from this, like in a positive way somehow. It wasn't to bash him or bash her or, make myself look fucking stupid and I can't believe I did this and don't do what I did. No, that's not what this was about. It's a very karmic time and karma's catching up. And I need you to be aware of where everybody stands when I tell you there's karma at each corner. And you mark my words, it is not as simple as you just walking away from it. Because if you think it's that simple and you can just take yourself out of it, you will find yourself in another situation down the road with somebody else. That's how life fucking works. Because you're not picking up on your karma. You just assume it's his karma, it's her karma. I'm going to take myself out of it. You have to pick up on your own karma and why you're there. And I think it's so easy for everybody to simply just say, I'm going to walk away from this and this is how I'm going to clear my karma. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Me and him came into each other's lives to benefit each other, whether we stay together or not. We will both get what we deserve in the end because we both figured out what's really important. It's just a matter of how things follow through. I'm not using him as a bad example. Like I said, before he even came back into my life, I used him as a prime example of what pain feels like for my children so they could relate to me. Because when they go through their first heartache, for example, like Jada, first heartache, no, you can't relate to me, blah, 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 blah. You have dad. Like they don't understand that concept. And when I was able to really sit down and talk with her and explain to her, not only did I lose my first love, I lost my best friend. It's huge. And I never bashed him. It was never like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Were they shocked when they found out that me and him's like still stayed in contact? Yeah. But not in a bad way, you know? So it's just like I said, it is he was meant to come into my life and be my first everything. And he was meant to come in when my children needed really good advice. And he was meant to come in when maybe a time in his life where he really needed me. And I just happened to be in this point in my life where I was able to be that person for him. Because if I wasn't this person, anybody else would have been out a long time ago. The first red flag. You know how many red flags I've seen along the way? It wasn't me being naive. It was me knowing exactly where he was and knowing that I was in his life again for a very particular reason. So, just food for thought. I love you guys. I have my appointment. I will be back in a few hours and we will do weekend energy. Okay? I love you guys. And I will see you then. All right?